Imagine arriving at an F1 weekend and finding out that there's actually two races instead of one. That's essentially what happens during a sprint weekend, but the format is a little bit more complicated than simply adding another race into the schedule. A sprint is a shorter race held during selected Formula One weekends. Unlike a Grand Prix, which is usually around 300 kilometers, a sprint is approximately 100 kilometers and takes place over roughly 30 minutes. Drivers still race for position, but because the distance is much shorter, there's less time to recover from mistakes or change the outcome of a race. And importantly, sprint results award championship points. The biggest difference is the weekend format. At a traditional Grand Prix, teams have 3 free practice sessions before qualifying. On a sprint weekend, there's only 1 free practice session before sprint qualifying and before qualifying itself. That means teams have significantly less time to learn the track, evaluate the car, and make setup decisions before the competitive run begins. After sprint qualifying, drivers compete in the sprint before later going into another qualifying session for the Grand Prix. So there are 2 separate qualifying sessions and 2 separate races, each with their own results. The sprint also has its own point system. The winner receives 8 points, with points awarded all the way down to 8th place, which receives 1. Those points also count towards the drivers' and constructors' championships. So a sprint victory doesn't replace the Grand Prix, but it does have meaningful impact on the championship standings. The sprint format was introduced to create more competitive action throughout the weekend rather than concentrating everything around Sunday. It gives drivers another opportunity to fight for points and teams another race in which strategy, tire management, and performance matter. But it also changes how teams approach the entire weekend because they have less practice time and very little room to recover from a poor setup. And if you're new here, this is F1 Basics from Beginner, where I break down everything you need to know as a first-time viewer.